I'm personally excited to kick things off the day with insurance tech. In many ways, insurance represents sort of a new next frontier of fintech, and there's a new breed of entrepreneurs determined to reinvent the entire insurance value chain. So let's kick things off with some data. In some ways, it was almost inevitable that startups would target the insurance industry and the multi-trillion-dollar premium prize that it holds, specifically $4.1 trillion in non-life and life premiums. This breaks down in various ways. Cyber insurance premiums set to reach $7.5 billion in 2020. Small commercial insurance representing about $100 billion in premiums in 2013. And the major opportunity here within the insurance tech landscape is really to create a new set of digital-first insurance brands that consumers actually love. So, insurance historically has been among the most frustrating consumer experiences digitally, ranking just ahead of telco and cable. And today we're seeing an influx of new insurance distribution startups creating next-generation brokerages, managing general agents, and even carriers. You'll hear from Oscar tomorrow in a fireside chat. We're also seeing a wave of opportunity from ancillary tech trends like the Internet of Things. So over the past few years, we've seen a wave of partnerships across wearables, smart home sensors, connected car technologies, and that's also now translating over to a wave of strategic investments by carriers. Here you see one of Helium's card-sized sensors, which measures temperature, pressure, light, and humidity, and they recently took an investment from Hartford Steam Boiler. I believe I saw Excel Innovate this morning. They just made an investment in a startup called Notion, also providing sensor technologies. And we're also seeing a host of insurers look to apply drones to the claims and underwriting process. You see a Precision Hawk drone here, which recently partnered with Munich Re to improve post-catastrophe assessment. And another opportunity, obviously, is sort of the new risk pool, so technology enabling startup formation across new areas in insurance. So the incumbents and insurance firms are aware of this. This is a quote from Byron Duperrault of Hamilton Insurance Group, previously at Ace and Marsh. While we continue to resist change, venture capital companies are looking to our industry and seeing dollar signs, so the clock is ticking. If insurance, as we've known it, was an ecosystem, large section of it would be on the endangered species list by venture capital companies. He means startups here. But there has been a lot of chatter by venture capital investors over time. So here you see just a number of the firms who have publicly blogged about or had commentary on sort of coming change in the insurance industry. And you see a wave of the firms, some of whom today or will be here with us at the conference, including firms like Andreessen Horowitz and Bain Capital Ventures. And here you see just a small portion of the growing landscape of startups in this space, ranging from areas like life insurance to auto to small commercial and other areas. So obviously that's resulting in an influx of deal flow. I think the orange line here is what's most important to pay attention to. That's the deal trend over time. You see new sort of highs being hit in Q1 in the insurance tech landscape for venture investment and deal activity. And insurers are also not sitting on the sidelines. So here you see the wave of new sort of venture arms in insurance, as well as direct insurers who are also making direct investments in tech startups. And you see just the influx of continued insurers who are starting up these arms. The latest being Liberty Mutual, which just announced a $150 million commitment in a recent investment. So what are some of the areas that are buzzing within this space, or what are people talking about? One is this notion of coverage on demand, so startups that are unbundling policy times and coverage and bringing new mobile-first purchasing experiences to insurance. You see there a screenshot from a startup called Trove, which is just launched a Swipe to Insure app in Australia around electronics. I believe we have Wayne from Sure here, another startup in the space, presenting on our startup track. This idea of sort of reimagining mutualization, so new peer-to-peer models that are looking to sort of leverage digital networks, promising more transparency as well as other benefits. And you hear this sort of, we'll talk a bit more, and you'll hear from Lemonade and Daniel Schreiber on the panel right after this. The idea of blockchain, we've seen sort of a wave of strategic investments by insurance firms into firms like Digital Currency Group, which is actually an investor in a host of blockchain startups itself. So you see sort of that exploratory view into the space. And then applications in areas like insurance fraud. Here you see a slide from Everledger, which is a startup working to use blockchain in the diamond fraud space. And then this idea of sort of The risk to reinsurance value chain being disrupted. Here's a quote from Swiss Re about sort of being able to allocate capital efficiently and getting getting to those risks more directly and not waiting for intermediaries like direct insurers and brokers to get disintermediated sooner rather than later. So you see sort of, this is also a topic of discussion within the insurance tech landscape. So some questions that we're thinking about and also will be addressed on the panel. What will areas like life insurance, small commercial insurance buying look like in the next 5 to 10 years? What role will internet giants, if you think about where consumers, especially millennials, are spending the majority of their time, how will they play into what we see within insurance distribution and other areas? And then, what are some of the approaches we'll see eventually that will result in big winners in this space? Will startups, like Oscar, take the full stack approach? Will we see winners in alternative approaches? You see some of the biggest exits here, but still very little in terms of big sort of venture-backed exits in the insurance tech landscape.